Hey everyone, welcome back to my Loom kitchen, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make these Loom pie tarts. They're very fast and easy to make and don't take a lot of bands. So click on the recipe link below to get to the recipe page so you can check out the number of bands needed for this creation. After that, come back and let's begin. So before we actually begin making the tart, you have to pre-make one item, and that is the crust edge. And to do that, you get your crust color, one band, and then you get two of the crust color again, another two, and you get a single to cap that off once. Put your hook through that cap band, pick up the lower two, move it forward, pick up the next two, move it forward, pick up the last one, single, and you're done. You need 10 pieces per little tart. So pause your video, make 10 pieces, and unpause when you're done. Let's begin by making the fruit attachments that go on top of the pie. Now I have two types of attachment, the sliced fruit and the round fruit. Today I'll be showing you how to make a blueberry loom tart, and a strawberry loom tart. So to make the blueberry attachment, these are for round attachments, get 5 jelly purple bands, wrap it around your hook once. You can use a crochet hook or your loom hook. Then you get 2, push it over, take the other end, and you get 2 white bands, pull it through, then just set that aside. For the fruit slice, if you can set up your loom 3 rows in descending order. And since I'm making a strawberry slice, I'm going to have jelly red bands as my contrast, and I'm going to have pink as my accent. So you get single band, wrap it around twice, go down 4 times. And get single red jellies. I'm using pink because when you slice a strawberry, the center portion is a little lighter. And I know it's more white, but I think the pink looks better. Now, if you were doing a fruit slice that had a rind, like a lemon or a kiwi or a key lime, your accent color would be on these areas. If you were doing a slice that had a lighter portion in the middle, like a kiwi or like this strawberry, then your accent would be on this area. Close this off here. These are all single bands, doubled. Now you need to add cap bands. I'm sorry, crossover bands. So this is your layout. So for fruits that have the accent color in the middle, the lighter color in the middle, you put your accent pieces here. And if you want them like a lemon with the rind as the accent piece, then your darker accent piece should be here, and your lighter would be everything else. So cap this off. We're going to go in and loop up all the bands from here up here, going this way, then from here up here, and from here up here, then from here all the way up here. I'm going to fast forward a bit so you can pause and catch up and come back when you're done. Now we're going to tie it off here. Please don't tie off your sliced fruit attachment with a knot. Just grab two bands and pull it through. And just keep it in a holding hook and set it aside. So now we've made our crust attachments and we've made our fruit attachment. Let's begin with our tart. And we'll start with the whipped cream top. You'll need your regular loom. Remove the center row. You can have rows facing opposite each other, like I have my front facing to the right and my back row facing to the left. Locate your center, and this is 7th peg. Now get two bands, wrap it around these two pegs, the 6th and the 7th peg of the front row, twice. Then you get two bands from here, exit out here. Another two, put your hook through those two bands, pull it here, cross it here, like that. Now you're gonna get that those two wrap bands you placed on these two pegs. You're gonna lift that up and over. Now you're gonna go around your 4 pegs with two white bands. After you've laid down 2 white bands on the 4 pegs, you're going to lift those 2 lower bands up and over each peg. And we're going to do it one more time, 2 bands on the 4 pegs. And this time you're going to lift the lower 4 bands up and over each peg. Push it down. Now we're going to extend these 4 pegs to 6. Get 2 bands. Exit out here. Exit out here. Another 2. Next here. And exit out here. Now you're going to do another row of 2 bands around the 6 pegs this time. And you're going to lift all the lower bands up and over. You should leave 4 bands on each peg. So all the lower bands that were on the peg before you added those 2 bands should go up and over. At any time, please feel free to pause the video and just unpause when you're done or if you need to catch up. Okay, so we did 1 round on 6 pegs. We're going to do our second round, and the second round will add your topping. So let's start with our blueberry topping. And there are already 2 bands on this. So take a portion here. Grab the other end of the white bands. Those are 2 bands, but put 1 band on that peg and put the other over there. Spread it out. Do the same with the other side. That way. Then we do our last row of double bands. Lift all the lower bands up and over. So your whipped cream portion is done. So these are the two ongoing projects we have so far, and I forgot to mention, it doesn't really matter where you attach your fruit slice or your round fruit, just as long as you have those white bands evenly distributed around it. So your whipped cream is left on 6 pegs, and if you're more comfortable working with straight pegs, the whipped cream on straight pegs, like I have my strawberry attachment on, and you find yourself in this position where it's slanted, all you need to do is pop up one row and just realign it so that it's straight. Let's move along to the flavor portion of the Loom tart. So you get 2 bands of your flavor, and from these 6 pegs we're going to extend to 10 pegs. So let's mark off those 10 pegs with the flavor bands. So you get 2 bands, mark off one end and the other. Now we're going to have to weave 2 bands all around the remaining pegs. Grab your hook, pick up those whipped cream bands off this peg, pull the flavor bands through, replace that peg with one end of your flavor band, put the other end here. We're working this way. Get another 2 bands, pick this up, pull the 2 bands through, replace one end on that peg, and put the other end on the previous peg. Another 2 bands, same. Two bands, pick this up. One end here, another end here. Then this one just needs to be closed off with 2 bands. Now just continue to the other side. So now I'm going to fast forward a bit. You can pause if you need to catch up, and I'll meet you when we're done with the flavor area. So this is the base layer of our first flavor of our flavor portion for the tart, and there should be 4 bands on every peg on the 10 pegs. Now the next is you're just going to get 2 bands and go around all around the 10 pegs. After laying down the bands on those 10 pegs, you're just going to lift the lower 4 bands up and over on each peg. And we're going to repeat that process 2 more times for a total of 3 rows. So this is row 1. Pause your video, repeat this process 2 more times, unpause when you're done, and we can resume from there. So we finished the flavor on the 10 pegs, and we're now going to move on to the crust portion of the tart. Now you're going to get 2 pieces of your crust colored bands, and same thing, we're going to weave but staying within the 10 pegs. So you grab the bands off the peg and pull your crust colored bands through. Put one end of the crust colored bands on the peg you removed it from. Remove those crust colored bands from your hook. Lift up the next set and replace it with the other end of those bands. So you get another 2. Place one end on the previous peg. Remove it off the hook. Remove the bands, flavored bands off the next peg and replace it with the other end of those crust bands. So continue doing that all around. Pause your video and I'll meet you at the end. So we finished laying down the crust base, and your layout should look this way. So now you have to start adding in all those pre-made crust chains you made earlier. So you take one chain, one end goes on one peg, and then the cap band on the next. So pause your video again, continue laying down all your chains, unpause when you're done. Our crust chain has been laid down, and now we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to lift up and over all the lower 4 bands. So now that you've lifted the lower bands up and over in each peg, we're going to do the same process of laying down 2 bands on these 10 pegs. And we're going to be needing 2 more rounds. So you can pause your video and finish off 2 rounds on these 10 pegs. Lay down your bands and lift your lower bands up and over. Unpause when you're done, and we can resume from there. So you finished 3 rounds on the 10 pegs, and we are now going to decrease to 8 pegs. So we decrease from this peg and take the top 2 bands, and since the other side comes from here, you go the opposite. Lower 2, now decrease from here. Top 2 bands come from here. Let's move it here. Lower 2 go here. So we're now working on 8 pegs. Same process. Go around the 8. After going around, you're going to lift the lower bands up and over again, each peg. The outer band should have the outer peg should have 6 bands since we decreased from there, while the inner peg should have 4 to lift up and over. After you do this, repeat that round one more time. You can pause your video. Come back when you're done with round 2 on 8 pegs. So we're done with 2 rounds on these 8 pegs, and this is the last we're going to do. Now you're going to get single bands of your crust flavor. Just line it up all around. Then you're going to lift all the lower bands up and over, leaving only 2 bands per peg. So we're now going to close this off, separate the bands on each peg. Make sure you know which the upper and lower band is. We're going to start here, so we're going to grab a band from here, put your hook in, grab the lower band, bring it up and over onto that peg. Put your hook in, push back that band you just placed and the upper band, and pick up only the lower band. Bring it up and over and forward. Here, pick up the lower band, bring it forward, put your hook in, pick up the lower band, and move it forward. Same here, move it across. Lower band, forward, never mind if that comes off. Lower band, forward, forward. Now over here, there's only 1 band. Pick that up, bring it there to where you started, and let's tie this off. 1 band slip knot, help it off the loom. Now you just pop it up, let it fold in, adjust. That's it.